Normally, let me get my positioning right. There we go. All right. All right, let me juggle all this. Welcome. All right, time to get Mr. Raphael on the phone. Looks serious right there, doesn't he? Serious dude. Welcome, Raphael.
How you doing, Dan? Good morning, good afternoon.
Thank you. Man needs no introduction. He is Raphael, CEO of No Limit Coin. And we're going to give people a little bit more time to get in here. We already got some people going, but how you doing today?
Perfect. Good. You know, it's it's just basically, you know, I just see it like there's a finish line, and there's no more weekends or nights or days or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a patient on the operating table. I planned that statement, and that's basically what's happening. And you know, what happened with the coin and everybody's essential crowdfunding, that's really what this is, really changes the aspect, and the results already extremely visible. I mean, we already know that. Do you want me to wait a little bit for your group to arrive, or should we just
no, I mean, you go ahead and start. There's already people here. We're just going to wait for the questions.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. So everything's moving forward. The fruits of the whole effort, the crowd effort with the coin and the money that definitely is making the difference. I mean, it wasn't a lot. You know, we're the ones that, you know, sold at the cheapest, and, you know, we haven't really sold at the higher numbers, which makes us very happy. Actually, I love to see, you know, people that brag about having gotten in early, etc. But at any price is good. So what's happening is, you know, we finally got our opinion letter. We have a very well-known attorney in New York. He's a specialist in our area in fantasy sports. He's been with us for years, been very reasonable and understanding that, you know, we don't have the kind of money that the big players do. Hopefully one day, you know, we'll reward him and give him a lot of work once we're, you know, up there. And I think that day could be soon. But he issued the new updated opinion letter, which the credit card processing companies were requiring. And the other important piece also that, you know, Money's has definitely helped was what's called the KYC, Know Your Customer. So even though the profitability on paper when you use credit card processing or PayPal is very tight, you know, because of all the percentages and withholding, but we can think about our discussions and how our strategy and view has changed to where our true goal is just packing the game with thousands and thousands of people, and those people are going to come from existing markets, from our dollar platform. I think that's probably where a lot of them will come from. So it's a very important thing that we've achieved that. You know, the money that we sold through the block that we sold through you has helped us get through these steps. And of course, our investors still kicking in money, so that's important. And you know, my next really, what I really want to just already get down to is ad agency. We have an ad agency. It's called brewinghot.com. It's a very professional agency, and we're going to fan out all our advertisement through them, both the traditional networks and other less traditional networks. So we don't just focus on, you know, Facebook or whatever. We're going to fan out. So we're going to put money in there. So you're going to see we're going to go into the specialized publications like RotoWire, which I mean that's last year we went out on RotoWire and it was crazy. I mean nothing was happening, and then RotoWire hits, and boom, the next day there's 200 registrations, and then just it continued from then on. So, we got a little behind with them. So if you're watching this, I appreciate the patience, but now everything's back to normal. So we've taken care of that, most of it. Now we're gonna do the other part. So everything is as planned, and the most important thing, of course, is the aspect that referrals are going to play into this. So that's why we're giving away NLC, and we're basically giving back a percentage to the referrals. So when you refer somebody, and by the way, if you're already registered, send in an email that says, "Hey, I'm in Dan's group," because everybody under in Dan's link is going to get a special one-time NLC deposit to your game that nobody else will get. So there, Dan, you didn't even know about this, right? So we've talked about this, but you deserve that, everybody. And then they're going to get a special one-time fee, and then they can bring their own people, referral. Now, like I said, it's not going to be this, multi-level thing, but at least the guys under you, you can benefit from them.
Yeah,
I mean, something.
Cool. All right, cool. Let's all right, questions. Let's see what we got. It looks like we got some burning. If you have questions, go ahead and post them now. Also, there's 100 no limit coin being given away for every sign up right now still, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
We're gonna lower it to 25 very, very soon, because I wanted to always keep it at $1.
Yeah.
10,000 used to be $1, I think, or something like that. So,
if you heard that, go ahead and get it, because it's going to go to 25 soon.
Right, it's going to 25 in a matter of days, because right now 100 is $3 something, and that's too high. So we don't want to pay that much for customer acquisition. We want to keep it $1 or less.
Yeah.
So we always want to keep that free, that free deposit for about $1. So right now we're gonna, bring it down to about 25. And who knows, maybe it'll be one of these days, right, Dan?
Yeah, definitely. All right, post that. Somebody, Nick, if you want to go ahead and post that link in the live chat to the where they sign up and get 100 no limit coin. People can start doing that. Okay, looks like this is the first question from Dan. Hey, first question from Dan. That's pretty cool. Dan Engler. If I misspelled your name or say it wrong, no offense. Still love you. Where will we get the data to populate the daily fantasy sports? I made a site 3 or 4 years ago that was daily fantasy based, and was very expensive to buy data from the NFL to use.
It's incredible that question just came up, because the other question was going to be, what's your timeline? What are your dates? And then my answer to that was going to be, is that we're turning on the data feeds like today or tomorrow. And yes, those data feeds used to be like $5,000 a month, which was, I mean, maybe once your business was going, it would be okay. But it was prohibitive for somebody to just say, hey, let's give this thing a shot. But then there's the new generation of data providers that has come out, and I'm very happy with them. They're called fantasydata.com. So if there's any other provider out there, you should give them a try. And they've been very good about everything, and they always work with you. And there's little things that we find in the data, and they always adjust. So we have an excellent data provider right now, and the costs are very, very reasonable. The services are excellent. I always ask for there's multiple layers of services, from live to 15-minute delay to 1 hour delay, and I always like to have the best. But we always negotiate a better deal, and then they always give me like a free month going into the actual season. So right now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to turn on the feeds today or tomorrow, and then we're going to know exactly. We're going to be able to indicate dates, contests, exact date of soccer. I don't even have the exact date, because that's what we needed. We needed the live feeds. So yes, you are correct, Dan, that it was very prohibitive, and only if you had a ton of money to burn and to see if this thing was going to work, could you have those data feeds. But more companies have established, and like I mentioned, I'll mention, Scott. He's excellent, and Dustin over there at fantasydata.com. So there, uh, give me a discount for that pitch.
Perfect. Well, fuck, we might have an early winner. Remember, 1,000 no limit coin to the best question.
That was a good one.
And that was a good one. So the bar's been set very high. So if you wrote a question, you might want to look at it again and before I get to you, ask again. All right, Dan again. Dan's just firing all streets, it looks like.
Fire.
All right, so I guess this might be a part of the first one. We illegally scrapped it and eventually, I don't know about the illegal part, Dan. We illegally scraped it and eventually once we hit 1,500 players, we received a C&D from the NFL and had to shut down. Okay, yeah, so we're doing it all legal, right? Everything legit. So
absolutely, like I just mentioned, I just have a fresh legal opinion from my attorney. I can't show it, but because it's directed at the credit card processors only. But essentially, it lays out, it's really like it lays out all of the laws. It's many pages. It's many thousands of dollars. But our attorney has been very reasonable. Now, Dan is correct. A few years ago, the NFL sued all of the fantasy providers. So when did you do this? When did you get that cease and desist letter, Dan?
We'll give him a little bit to type it in.
Regardless of that happened. They did sue all the fantasy sports people because they said these people are just. This is a huge industry, and we're not getting a penny from this thing. They're using our players. It went to court. I'm not sure if it went to the Supreme Court or a very high court, and basically the court said, you know what? Once you disseminate information, it's in the public domain. So as long as you don't use the player image with the team's logo, the courts have said it's okay, and then there's certain sizes and so forth, and that's what we have. We've got a face shot, and it doesn't show the logo of the team, and they lost. The NFL lost in that lawsuit, so there's no more. That's why DraftKings and FanDuel flourished. So yes, legality has been the number one issue, really. I mean, aspect of this, and even if we're doing crypto, we're still following every law of every state, and there's about half of them that have regulation, and we're basically backing away from all of them. So we're going to have 25 where we operate. We're going to have another 25 where we're going to operate, but the free version, which, I'll expose them a little bit, give them a few NLC, but we can't take money from them. And then as we move ahead, we're going to start picking states from those 25 states, and say, okay, we're gonna go and get registered, certified, get our license in these multiple states, and then because it's expensive and they all want a lot of money and they think we're, I just saw one right now that wants 8% of the gross. I mean, think about that, Wow, and we're just coming up, so we don't have numbers that we could justify and say, hey, we're doing this much or that much in that state. So we're fine. We're going from nothing up to wherever it is that we're going to reach. And because we have the international factor, that's what gives me a little bit of, the comfort of not feeling that I'm losing out, a lot of pieces. But, we still have a huge piece of the United States. And if we can, if we could ramp this thing up in that side of, the 25 states that still haven't imposed regulation, then we're going to be fine. And then we'll have the resources to go into the different states and decide, where we want to go and where it just makes no financial sense because of the burdenous regulations or fees that everybody put on this, because, DraftKings and FanDuel made so much noise a few years ago that all these state legislatures think that, everybody's making millions, and it's still unfair, because they're so huge. For them, $50,000 or $25,000 to pay to be in a state is nothing. For us, it's something. So we're going to take it one step at a time, but we'll be there. We'll be there, and we'll say, okay, you know what? We want to be here. We want to be here. We don't want to be there, and we're going to follow all of the rules, and we're not going to risk. We're not going to risk getting shut down, and we certainly don't want to risk, doing things wrong. I mean, I've been in business for many years, and I've always tried to maintain a very good aspect in terms of accounting, taxes, and all of that. So we're good there too.
Cool, perfect. All right, Dan's third barrel. Also, who will be setting the player prices, etc.? We will simply be using the prices as the other two DFS companies.
Yes, we we actually get the salaries that are DraftKings. So essentially, you're getting the DraftKings salaries. That's the ones we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
We ran into a lot of problems on the soccer game with that, so we actually created our own algorithm, and it worked good. So we're filling in the spots because DraftKings wasn't really doing soccer in a very, very good way because they weren't picking all of the games. They were doing it daily so they could get more turnover while we do it weekly. So we let you accumulate players from games of the whole week, while DraftKings wants you to be in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah,
One day,
huge.
yeah, they want, Thursday's games, boom, that's a contest. Friday games, okay, we're gonna be able to run that too. I mean, yeah, you want to do also same day type of a situation, but the true fan of fantasy, should go a week and should let that contest mature and evolve rather than having all these contests everywhere. So I like our model. I like the fact that we have, in my opinion, a truer model when it comes to the fan. Now, in case of NFL football, it's pretty much the same for everybody. Although another thing that differentiates us from them, and we're still not about the money. We're about the purity, and maybe we'll be about the money. But you can put. There's some contests in DraftKings that you could put in 500 teams. Now tell me, if you put in 500 teams and you sit down to enjoy your picks watching a football game, who are you rooting for? You have no idea. A computer picked those. There's a bunch of people that do lineups for other people, and they get money and they make good money because they're gaming the system. So we're not there yet. We're going to have contests that let you put in 5 teams, maybe 6, maybe 10. But I don't want to lose that whole aspect where you can enjoy fantasy through a second screen. That's the whole point. You've got your second screen here. You're watching your game, and you can see how the points are accumulating, and it's very exciting that way. And I want to transfer, and I want to keep that, and I don't want to turn it into this just gambling thing where people write software and create lineups and put in 300 teams and game the system. So I want it to stay pure.
That's perfect. That was actually a personal question I forgot to ask. Because people do that. They'll have these algorithms. They'll have these algorithms, and it's just like it's not even fair. It's like you're playing against bots basically. So to have a cap on that,
it's all bots. You have no shot. You have absolutely no shot at winning if you think you're going to put in a lineup into DraftKings, like 3 or 4 lineups, and you think you're really smart. Forget about it, because the guy, the other guy's putting in 300 teams. He's got computers building the teams and modeling everything, and he doesn't even know what's going on, and it's just a game. And I don't want to lose the whole thing that got me here, which is how I remember I used to sleep through 1 NFL game a week, and now I'll watch 6 and feel like, hey, what happened to the week? Because you've got everything tied into every single game. You got one player here, you got one player there, you got etc. So it's very fun, and it can be transferred to the other sports, and it makes for very, very good entertainment and competition. And then now there's money in the middle, and then the kind of money that there is, meaning cryptocurrency. So you're kind of you're essentially playing 2 things. You're playing fantasy to make more, and then you're playing the coin. So
yeah, that's beautiful. The purity of it. That's just awesome. Very, very good. All right, so here's our next question. Michael Simcox. What is the plan to lure the average fantasy player over to NLFS, since converting can be tricky?
it's the hardest thing in the world. I mean, you know, I mean, coming in and saying, "Hey, I can do these," I that's what happened, right? I mean, I see what's happening with fantasy. I'm totally, into it also. And then I think this needs to happen, and then of course DraftKings and FanDuel comes out, and I think, wow, this is easy for me. So in a way, and then you study the numbers, millions and 50. But when you're there, like peeling off one subscriber is gonna be difficult until now.
Mhm.
Until now. I mean, we had really a very difficult uphill battle, and it was a very difficult question for me to answer when people say, "How are you gonna overcome the size of these companies that you just can't penetrate the market just because?" And it was a hard question to answer until, of course, NLC changed everything. Now we've got something that they don't have. We've
Mhm.
got a baby crypto that has it all. I mean, it's already on the stage. It's still very inexpensive in the general terms of things. If you do the math, if you extrapolate that we're going to have many players, and then you figure all those players are going to need to have a balance of value, then the numbers grow very, very rapidly. So in my opinion, I think that we're at a huge advantage now, and all we need to do is structure the way we attract the players through bounties, through awards like that 25% add-on if you send in NLC, and also for your NLC that's already there. So guys, I had like a mad rush. I've got like 100 withdrawals right now. Everybody thinks that they need to take the coin out and then back in, which is okay because one of the announcements was that our merchant processing system for our own coin is done. So going back to how are we going to lure the players, that's how we're going to use NLC, and we're going to use our original base, you guys, everybody, to spread the word and say, look, we've got fantasy sports, which we all love, but we've also got crypto, and this crypto is an emerging crypto, kind of like Bitcoin, but barely being born. So that's really where we're gonna. That's how we're gonna target our audience, and certainly we're gonna invest in advertisement. So we're gonna communicate the message through advertisement, and by giving 25% of the profit to your affiliates, and then 10% to the second level, we're hoping that it'll create an army of people that seek other people to register. Um, so that's why. And Dan, if you go to settings, I mean, just grab your link, post it, and then have everybody that hasn't registered use your link. And if they have, they can actually just say, "Hey, this is my username. I want to be in Dan's group," and then we'll put you in there. And then right before the start of the season, we're going to drop a little extra NLC in there just to show our appreciation for what Dan's group is doing.
You're gonna want to be in Dan's group. Yeah, Michael has another question. Oh, I wanted to add to that actually, because this is one of the rare communities where we actually have trust, and we are actually able to have a crowd-funded ad campaign donated by the community itself, and
I'm
we
very
plan on having
impressed.
more ones. But yeah, that's going to be launched too. Hey, every bit counts, and we were able to raise like over $5,000. So and we have wizards. We have really smart people who are they're really good at ads, really good at making these contests. Hell, the contests weren't my idea. Those are community members that came to me for the contest. So I can't take credit for that brilliant idea. But it's worked very well, and I already see other Slack groups, adopting what we're doing with the contest. But it just goes to show you that we already have a community doing things that other people aren't doing anyway. All right, so Michael Simcox has another question. What type of player research will the NLFS site have?
You know, I'm gonna look for. Let's see. I actually tried to get into that and create a player research, and at the end of the day, it just became very, very difficult. I mean, you can't compete against all the big sites, and I try to make it, and I can't find where it is right now, but it just became a total like drain of resources and energy to 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 try to recreate what is out there many times over. But I was like, we're gonna do this and it's gonna be a lot better, and it kind of was. And you could even see the names of the yeah, I'm not gonna bumble through it's the website's in there somewhere here. Let's see if I could do this in under a few seconds. DFS screens. Yeah, right there. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen.
Okay.
Share screens. Start. Okay, check this out.
Cool.
I'm not sure why I'm showing you this, because I'm not doing it anymore. But I did try. I mean, look at that. We had a really nice setup. It was black and white. It kind of reminded me of the Wall Street Journal. That was what I wanted to follow. And we might bring this back, and because you can see it gives you small articles on each of the players. So we might bring it back, because the thing is that I was so short on resources that I just had to, like, oh no, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. But now, a little extra, the difference, making all the differences in the world. Thank you. So we might bring this back. Now, this is no substitute for ESPN, for sure. And basically, we've made it so everything's linked. Let me see if I can get back to that. Share screens. Let me go back to that. Start. Okay. So if we go back, while I'm at, you mentioned something today, and so you could see that essentially, I don't have meetings, because all we are is a bunch of developers, and everything is, like I mentioned at the start of the discussion, patients on the operating table, and we're doing stuff, live. But what you did mention today is, if you had the app, and actually we went about 95% with the app. You could see it right there. There's the home page, and it's not live or anything, but going back to those little extra resources that we got by selling NLC at 20 and at 30 and at 50. Damn, that was tricky on you, huh? Yeah, sure. So we've got the app, and I just as soon as you told me today, you said, hey, you know what? I went to the app. It's all right, but I mean, I went to the site, through the phone, and it's okay, but an app would be good. I said, you know what? Let's revive. Let's just finish this off. So we're gonna finish the app. So we are gonna have the app. I just wanted to say that. And the other thing I wanted to show you was, okay. So, all right. So, did I answer the question, or did I just
you knocked it out
go
the park.
off on
you knocked it out. You knocked it out the park, and then you went on your own thing, but it was cool. All right.
All right.
Dan,
please keep me, focused.
It's all good. Dan's all over the place. Are there plans to make? Are there plans to make a mobile app? That's crazy. Yeah, there you go, Dan. He's a psychic.
There was. It was like 95%, and then I went back to, oh my god, all these. This is because an app is an extra layer of complexity, a big one, and HTML5 allows websites to essentially become phone friendly, and they're 90%ish. But yes, the app is cleaner. It's designed to exactly sit on the phone that you have, and there's different versions for different phones. And when you've got a responsive application that essentially works on all platforms, it's not as perfect and clean. I don't mind the app, but yes, we're going to finish up the app, put it into the iTunes Store and to the Android Play Store. So that's an important. And the app was good. It was very clean. It was fast. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that, and so that's a positive development also.
All right, moving on to all right. So Deplorable Spot, that's the username. Is there any possible way that the U.S. government can put regulations, restrictions on the Crypto Fantasy Sports website itself?
Of course, there is, but I've tried to walk the very, very clear line in terms of legality, precisely by having an attorney that specializes giving us opinions. Now, we didn't get the opinion on the crypto because we didn't need it, but the crypto site and the cash site are identical. The only difference is the crypto site moves crypto, and crypto's not illegal in the United States. It's legal, and it's still being decided if it's money, if it's not money, and we're not going to wait until they decide. So I don't think we are at risk just because we do follow the rules, and we have very, very strictly avoided states that have come up with regulations. So any state that comes with regulation, we avoid, and we let you play our game with a version called no cost fantasy sports. So if an attorney general from any of the states says, hey, you're running illegal fantasy sports in my state, I'm going to say I'm running a no cost platform, and I'm only running the platforms where you can invest or spend or bet, whatever you want to call it, in the states where there's still no regulation. So I believe we're following the rules to a T. I do believe that. Therefore, I believe that we are in a very good position. We have a legal opinion from a very well-known attorney, basically, that says your game's legal. That's the license right there, because there is no federal license. So basically, that's my license. It's a big, big deal. It's essentially like your casino license. That's it. So it's a very big deal. The money that came in through the block sales, that was part of what helped us get through that. We were stuck. So it's a big deal. Same thing with the credit card processing. That's moving along perfectly, and it's all going to be ready. So we're going to have the dollar version where you could go in with a credit card and PayPal and play fantasy sports like DraftKings and FanDuel, and then you're going to have the crypto version, and it's going to be an identical platform. It's going to operate only in the states where we operate the dollar platform, not in the other ones. And then, of course, internationally. And we're also going to decide, what countries it's okay to operate and what countries it isn't. So I think we're in good shape in that respect. I wouldn't, risk doing things illegal. I mean, there's really no reason to, if the law's there to provide. I mean, it's a legal game right now, and that's why we're doing it. And that's why we ran in, because it's like they're saying, yeah, you could have a legal online casino in the United States of America where you play fantasy, and you're like, wow, okay, I want to be there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. All right, next question is from Lenny Chen. How do you plan on verifying the age of the participants while retaining anonymity?
Well, we have something called KYC, Know Your Customer, and you're going to have to go through KYC on the dollar platform. Now, on the crypto platform, it's a lot less restrictive, but you're still promising that you're of legal age. And if you win anything and you need to cash out, we're going to card you, and we're going to make sure all the information's there, because now it's not just, information on a network. These are worth money. So we are also following the rules of up to $600. So anybody that wins over $600 is going to have to prove their identity and basically get a 1099 and so forth. So we are going to have certain aspects where you have to clear to prove your age. It's not going to be as intense as the Visa MasterCard platform, because they impose a very, very onerous, both on the technical side and on the cost side. Just running KYC costs like 75 cents. So it's going to cost you 75 cents just to get somebody registered. You haven't really taken any money from them. And then you ran advertisements, And then on top of that, the credit card company takes a huge percentage. Then they retain a certain percentage for a few months for chargebacks. So, but we're still going to do it. We're still going to have the whole platform. But yes, the crypto platform is going to be less restrictive in that aspect, but we are still going to try to prevent underage players. And if any of those wins, then we're going to have to make sure that when we pay money out, people are of legal age and we have their identity and we can issue a 1099. Yes.
Okay, cool. Moving on, Mr. Glenn Fish Bachelor. He's a regular around here. How can the community best help market the coin and the gaming platform?
I mean, there's nothing like your own groups and your own social. I mean, it sounds like a broken record. Everything seems to lead back to social media, and it's not exactly that. But the first people you talk to are the people that are close to you. And crypto is such an interesting subject right now that you could easily, uh, get people's attention by starting talking to it. Meetups are excellent places. Bitcoin meetups. There's Bitcoin meetups all over the place. So you show up and you basically show up as the NLC ambassador. I was at a meetup, and right before NLC took off, I was at a meetup, and there was 30 people, and we're talking about Bitcoin, and I'm like, yeah, we've got NLC, and they put it up on the board, but nobody, not even me, we weren't thinking like 4 days from now this thing's gonna go up 20 times, so you better get your spot. But there's a lot of meetups, and that's a great place to get people interested in the game. And there's also fantasy sports venues like sports bars, and we're wide open. I mean, if you bring me a sports bar and you say, "Hey, I've got this sports bar over here. I know the owner. We want to run some contests from within the restaurant and get people to come in and just pack the house on Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. We're going to give away prizes, NLC, posters on the walls, local fantasy sports contests." That's a great way. And we'd be wide open to sponsoring some of those. So if somebody out there wants to walk into a sports bar and say, "Hey, I want to put together a nice in-house contest," because you can do that with the game. You can have a private contest, a private league, and then invite all the people, and then it becomes this private thing, and then the restaurant could give away food and prizes. So we thought about that. It's not really something that makes money or will be something impactful in terms of revenue or the amount of people that could be registered compared to internet advertisement that is sometimes so powerful, or when you do it right. But you could definitely solidify solid groups that way. So we're wide open to ideas, and we've got NLC to support any good idea that you bring, where we might have to put up a little extra NLC to attract people, or the some of those restaurants that I was describing, the sports bar. Feel free, and I'll definitely, all right, let's put up X amount of NLC, additional to whoever wins the contest. And Sunday night you've got to be at the sports bar to collect. So now everybody's going, they're watching the games on TV, they've got their phones, they're keeping track. And actually it's Monday night, right? Monday night is when you close out the week. So but they can run all kinds of events to generate people. So really it's up to everybody to spread the word, and certainly postings within the fantasy sports world and within the crypto world. So those are our two worlds: the fantasy sports world, the crypto world. The fantasy sports world is kind of like the poker world, people that like to play. So but
Yeah.
thank you for that question. It's really a very, very important question, because I'm counting on that. That's really what we're counting on, because we're not going to go out there and blow, $5 million on advertisement like FanDuel and DraftKings are going to do, and they've been doing, because they have all this money from investors that they have to blow. So that's fine. It brought attention to the industry. It also brought attention for the regulators. But regardless of that, we're going to have our own strategy. And now with NLC and the way crypto is coming along, and the way people are starting to hear about Bitcoin. It's great timing, perfect timing, actually.
Perfect. People, if you want to go ahead and start posting your No Limit Coin address, Nick's going to go ahead and start passing out free No Limit Coin. So go ahead. It's up to him who he gives it to. Just post your link and you'll be.
Can I post mine too?
You can too. You can too. He's going to pick them at random. I don't know how he does it.
You know what? I don't know. I've got this thing about even my own crypto. I'm like, I want to buy some more and more. So instead of like selling, I'm buying. Can you believe that? I'm like, let's just get a few thousand more. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one. We got a chaos mindset. Are we going to be able to bet for the McGregor-Mayweather fight?
No, we can't. Because initially I thought we could, but we talked about the legality and it's a very look. World Series of Poker has an online poker site. It's free and people can play it, yet online poker is illegal. And the reason people can do it is because you're not betting any money. So it would make sense to say I can put up a website where people can bet against each other. But I read some of the laws. I talked to some attorneys. I already knew what the attorney was going to say. I didn't even want to ask him, but I had to, because I don't want to risk everything we've done together for something that could be great, but at the same time could be a problem, because it's too gray area. And now, am I researching being able to have websites where people bet against each other and there's no rake or no percentage, and all we want to do is that they use NLC? I'm doing a lot of research, or some research, to see if we could cross that line, but I'd rather right now not do that, just in case, because the law does say that you can't just promote people, hey, come bet A betting against B. So I'd rather just play it really, really safe. Now, is it a great idea, and did it sound logical? And does it sound logical where I put up a website and let people do peer-to-peer betting and we don't make anything? It sounds totally logical. But yeah, everybody's going to be able to, they're going to be able to claim that I did it to make the coin more valuable, and that's how I'm making the money. So yeah, I mean, it's a little, but that's where we go back to fantasy sports and the incredibleness of fantasy sports. It's legal. I mean, how hard is it to open a casino? It's either Vegas, or forget about online casinos, forget about online poker in the United States. Yet I've got a license to run fantasy sports in 25 states. That's a huge deal. So now with the help of NLC and the community, it's going to become reality, and we're going to be a player. And we're going to, in the process, get a lot of people into crypto that didn't know about it, so we can be proud of that. And because they have to. Everybody needs to be in crypto. Not 99%, 100% of the people must sit on Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, of course, No Limit Coin. Yes.
Yes. All right, going to the next question. Benjamin Schwab, do you guys plan on advertising out to roto grinders or fantasy outlets like that?
Yes. We definitely, if I could find this, we definitely advertised on RotoWire. So yes, we're gonna try to get out on some of those also. So the answer is yes, we're gonna do it on the traditional, but in the case of fantasy sports, the results from the specialized websites like what you're describing is far superior than the social media and the Google and the Facebook. So the answer to that is yes. And I mentioned a little bit at the beginning of the discussion that we had done that with RotoWire. It was very good for us, and we got a little behind. But with the with the new development, we're back on it, and we're taking care of basically them. So we're ready to run some advertisement through the specialized channels. And a lot of help can come from the NLC community when you go to those websites and post on the articles. hey, check out this new fantasy website. I've been playing it. It's pretty cool. They do crypto like Bitcoin, but it's a coin that just emerged. It went up this, it used to be this much. Now it's this much. But, so that's the kind of thing that could be very, very positive. It shouldn't look like you're doing it like as a work, but it should be kind of like from passion and nice posts, not just short ones like come here, but really talking about what we're doing. And I think that goes a long, long way. And that exposes you. I mean, if you post on an article that a lot of people read and you're able to put the comments, you're basically getting free advertisement from thousands of people, because a lot of people will read the comments. So those are the things that could go a very, very long way. If you just explain what's going on, hey, we've got a platform over here, it's really cool. We've got a crypto trades over here, get free coin. You post your own referral link. Hey, register under my referral, and I kick back a few NLC for you. That kind of thing on the side. Whatever.
Yep.
You got to use you got to use it. Use the tools.
Okay. Andrew Wright, we already answered that question. Have you received the opinion letter regarding the legal use of NLC in the United States?
Yes.
So
can you believe that?
We've beaten that.
And the money that we were able to raise through the sale of coin was very helpful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just reading it, and I was gonna show it, and then it says, "You may not show this to anybody except." I said, okay, I don't want to get in trouble with my attorney. So, but we got finally that letter, which was being asked for by multiple, basically the credit card processing and our accountant and a few other. So that's a yes,
cool.
Big yes, very important yes, and not just a yes on the NFL, on all the sports. Basically, we've got the letter that now covers us. On the other sports.
Yeah,
so
that's huge.
Yeah, that's very, very important.
Okay. Damien DeCantelin, probably butchered that, but when playing fantasy games, do you get a 25% bonus when using no limit coin instead of dollars?
Yes. 25% is going to be if you send in NLC, or if you buy NLC through the game. What we're going to do, if you buy NLC through the game, you're going to get a 25% add-on. And rather than holding hostage the whole amount like we will if you send in NLC, so if you send in NLC and you want the 25% add-on, you have to play the full amount that you've sent in, or else the system won't let you take out. If you don't want, if you say, no, I don't want to be held my money hostage, then you don't get the 25%. Now, when you purchase NLC, you will get a 25% add-on, but we will let you withdraw 75% of the NLC you purchased and only force you to keep 25%, and then you get that extra 25%. So in essence, and then we take that 75%, and then everything, basically the purchase that you make, and then that goes right into the exchange. That purchase is going to go, it's going to touch the exchanges. So that's what we want. We want the purchases to hit the exchanges. So the 25% will be there either on sending in NLC or NLC that you already have in your account right now. Boom, we're going to add 25%.
Okay, cool.
And if you register right now, we have no way of deciding. We're just going to say, okay, everybody that's in right now that's in good standing, boom, give them 25%. So you have to take out your coin. But if you already have, it'll go out now. The people that have requested withdrawal right now, give me a few days, please. There's like 50 or 75 or maybe more. Just give me a few more days, because it used to be one-by-one transaction. So we're working on basically a way to do them all at once. Boom, 100 transactions after they get approved, and that's a streamlining. And I want to add that the main focus of this week with the developers was the merchant processing system that is almost finished, and it works very well, and it basically moves money in and out of the NLC, in and out of the game automatically seamlessly and instantly in. When it comes in, it gets credited as 0 confirmations. And by the time you take it out, we go back and make sure that there was 6 confirmations. Otherwise, of course, we won't do any payouts. So that merchant system is going to be good for other people that say, hey, I want to use this merchant system and I don't want to use BitPay because they charge me 1%, right back to Visa, MasterCard. And then there's another one that charges 0.5%. And I'm thinking, you know what, we're just going to go out and do 0.1% or free, because we've got the peculiarity that we sit on coin and also have the platform. So it's in our best interest for the coin to be used. So we don't care if somebody uses the merchant system, and we don't need to make that kind of money. So that merchant system is now going to be used for ourselves, because there was no good merchant system out there for your own coin. And for Bitcoin, you have to pay, but we're still going to use the paid version because we don't want to. So BitPay is going to be for Bitcoin, but then we're going to have our own merchant processing system, which we'll put on GitHub, and it's going to be very nice. So once the season starts, you're going to see how NLC moves in and out quickly, efficiently. Very nice.
Excellent. All right, moving to the next question. Kendall Bell. What are your thoughts on the DK FanDuel inability to merge in terms of our business here, and can you see any partnerships with them in the future?
Well, we opposed it, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I showed the letter that we sent in. We sent in a very strong letter opposing the merger, because rather than having 2 huge companies, we didn't want to have one gigantic one. And I think everybody that puts together a company and yes is passionate about what you're doing, but at the end you're thinking of some kind of a financial goal. Certainly, at some point, they might say, hey, this company is interesting, but the way I see it is they're the ones that are going to have to watch out for us. Now, really, I'm serious. So I don't see, what, with NLC, unless they walk in here with, with a huge check, there's no way we're going to let this thing go for a few minutes, right?
Pennies on the dollar.
So we actually are happy that the merger did not go through. We participated in opposing it by telling the FTC we were against it. We had a meeting with them, and we talked to their attorneys in a big meeting, and we said, hey, don't let them do it. They didn't. So it's a positive thing, but they're still very, very strong competitors, and we still have to fight very hard. But I'm glad that they are separate, because now by being separate, they both might say, hey, we got to look at No Limit Fantasy Sports, and it's good to have competition, a bidding type of a competition whenever you're trying to sell an asset. I'm not saying I'm trying to sell it, but if somebody walks in here with with the right dollars, but I just can't see it. I can't see it, because the coin makes everything a wild card, and it gives us an amazing view into the future. And I want to develop this whole thing out, on a worldwide basis. All the sports have millions of users, and then we can talk about that. Not now.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can talk about buying them, actually.
Yeah, I agree. We got to mature first and really grow into our clothing, so to speak.
Yeah, my investor, he's like, I'm not selling a single coin. I'm not selling a single share. I don't want to hear about it. I want you to buy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
All right. So Brian is he says, I'm in Texas. I used to live in Arlington myself. FanDuel isn't allowed, but DraftKings is. Can I take yours and Dan's tokens in y'all's head-to-head offers? Let me answer that real quick. No, because I am unbeatable. But now I'll pass the legal question to Mr. Raphael.
Yeah, you can't play. You want, if you're in a state that doesn't have, like Texas. Texas does not have access to our websites, so you can't really play. you can't play our you could play our no cost. The no cost essentially is going to give out free NLC, small amounts, and you can't really buy in, and there will be no head to head. Well, there might be head to head, and then it's still a no buy in model. So I guess, yeah, because everybody else has that, like the states that have open the game wide open will also be able to play the no cost games, and then the people in the no cost states like Texas can only see the no cost platforms. But you could say, hey Dan, I'll meet you over at this head to head, and then if you guys do something privately or on the side, that, I mean, that's not even illegal. It's basically okay for two individuals to to be able to wager stuff on the side without a middleman.
Well, bad news, Brian. You get to lose your money to me now. I'm gonna go with 5 more questions because this is already running on an hour. But these have been great questions, guys. It's gonna be tough to pick a winner.
Yeah.
Let's see. What were we? All right, Andrew Wright. I have heard it said that No Limit Coin 2s will be for sale directly at your own websites. Will this price be based on the prevailing prices at the exchanges?
Yes, it will be the ask price plus 5%. So we're going to go ask price plus 5%, and you have to play. And in order to get the 25%, you're going to have to play, most what we mentioned, the percentage. So yes, and then, but that money that comes in, then goes to the exchange and gets right back in. So that money is not going to leave the economy of NLC, which is very important. We understand that.
Okay, good. All right, Burger Hold question. What is the marketing plan going forward with the ad agency? Where will the ad budget be spent? We've talked a bit about the ads, but we'll go ahead and touch on it more.
Yeah, definitely the traditional, Facebook. I mean, we know, right? But it's not that great for fantasy, actually. Now, with the coin and crypto, it might bring in a lot of registrations. But yes, specialized publications like Roto Grinders, but specifically RotoWire, we've been with them, so we're going to go again with them this year if they'll take us. I'm sure they will. And we like the specialized channels better than the catch-all, Google network. But that's what we're doing. If you look up brewinghot.com, they're very good at what they do. They're very fast. We can target the demographics very, very narrowly, and they're very good at what they do. So I just put them on. I just tell them how much I want to spend per day, and they fillet it up into little pieces. We're going to put, okay, you want to do 100 a day, okay, 20 here, 20 there, 30 here, 50 there, okay, fine. Okay, now we're going to do, is it 500 a day or is it 1,000 a day? And we're just going to ramp it up. And of course, we look at the metrics, we look at the numbers, and we go with the best bang for our buck in terms of advertisement. But we're pretty aware which platforms work. Now, we're on a worldwide basis, and we're going to make money from crypto from anywhere, and people from around the world can play the crypto. So we're going to have to think outside, not the box, but the country, and also focus on specialized publications, both for soccer. So that's actually some meetings I'm going to have this following week, and we're going to have very good answers in terms of what properties we're going to use to advertise. So that's an excellent question. It's my #1 subject right now of sitting down with the agency and say, okay, this is where we got to go. Let's get the ads done. Let's put in the orders from now. I've already ordered a video. Very importantly, I've ordered a video. I don't know if you've seen the No Limit Coin video. So the same person that did this video is now going to do a video for me, but of the actual fantasy game. So
okay, cool.
The video we have now is of the coin, and it talks a little bit about how the coin goes into the game. But the new video is going to actually go through the game, basically take you through and show you how easy it is to build a team, make money, and follow your players.
Okay, excellent. This is an interesting question. Shiz777. How much would it help to contact cricket players and see if they can do a promo with the coin? And what sort of compensation would there be if the people could provide professional cricket players?
Oh, huge. Actually, I'm glad we're talking about this. Yesterday I was watching the final table of the main event, right, on ESPN poker.
Yep.
I wanted to just get on a plane and just like with a box of hats, box of shirts, and go tell those guys, look, put on this hat, put on this shirt. Here's some no limit coin, okay? So the answer is absolutely yes. And if we could use no limit coin, we could do some serious numbers. So if once we get to cricket, of course, which might be a few months, but it will come here. Really, any sport, we definitely want participation. I've actually talked to some of the soccer teams. I went up to the soccer offices, but they still don't get it. I was explaining how fantasy was working, and they're like, "Yeah, how much are you going to pay us to show our players?" I said, "No, that's not how it works." So I just said, "Yeah, we'll talk later." That was in Mexico. It doesn't matter. But so for sure, that's one very important way to get notoriety, to penetrate and have professional athletes wear your gear. That would be great. And if anybody's in Vegas right now hanging out at the main event, please talk to me. I'll get a bunch of gear out there to you, and we'll figure out a way to. I feel like just getting on an airplane and just but I'm on this 7/24 round the clock thing right now, so I can't really. Thanks to you guys, right? But if there's anybody out there where we could get like somebody on that final table to wear some NLC gear, I'm ready to write the check in NLC. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Here's another ad question, but it's angled differently. Nick, he's helping out with the live chat today. How you promote No Limit Coin 2 with ads, specifically fantasy sports? So are we looking to promote? How will we promote the coin and then the fantasy aspect? So the crypto investment, right. Yeah. So
you nailed it. That's exactly. We have to. So we're really going to do both. We're going to promote the game for sports fans, for gamblers, both within the gaming, and then we're going to promote the game in the crypto world. But yes, we're going to put money just into the promotion of the coin itself and promote it as what it is. So we definitely do want a campaign, an ad campaign, specifically for the coin and specifically for the fantasy games with the coin and with the Visa MasterCard. So I agree with all of us, or with you, that we also have to do some specific advertisement for the coin itself. So the answer to that is yes. And when I sit down with the ad agency, we're going to definitely discuss multiple campaigns: coin, fantasy sports. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Here's another one. Anonymous. Will the sites integrate an exchange to buy and sell? So is there any plans to actually create an exchange to buy and sell No Limit Coin 2-1?
We can't be an exchange because then you become a money transmitter and there's other legal requirements. Number one. Number two, it's a different world. And what we just need to do is make sure that the demand of the coin that comes through the game ends up in the exchange. And I'm absolutely saying that it is. The money that is the Bitcoin that arrives, and in certain cases, even dollar payments, will end up at the exchange buying no limit coins. So we'll sell. So we're basically going to circulate the same inventory, and the money will always end up in the exchange, because that's the whole point of this whole project, to put demand on the coin through multiple platforms by providing excellent games. So
Okay, excellent. All right, I guess this will be the last question. Well, I'll answer two more just to be on the safe side. Okay, Danny Roberts, how are you going to make it easy for the general public to use No Limit Coin 2 in crypto? Example, players familiar with fantasy sports but not crypto side. We've talked about this, but anything you want to hammer down?
I think that Bitcoin has done all the advertisement for us, luckily. I think most people, or a lot of people, have heard something about it, but not enough of it. So I think it's a great opportunity, and it is a very big challenge. Now, I have to be extremely careful not to, I can't put crypto in the dollar game, because then, because the credit card processors don't want anything to do with crypto, right? They actually don't even understand it or not. So we're not going to make it that easy on the dollar side to say, hey, you got $100 here. Why don't you come here and I'll give you an LC? We can't do that. But what we can do is tell people, hey, we've got this other game over here, and you're gonna have to go out and buy Bitcoin somehow, and then get it over to the game. But the percentage is half. I mean, the dollar platform is going to be 10% rake. The crypto is going to be 5. The head-to-head we talked about 2.5. So there is going to be huge advantages to being on the crypto platform, and we definitely will use the fact that this is the new world of crypto. Come and understand it. We'll put up the videos. Maybe we put up a page that kind of gives you a little more information of what is all of this. And I think we've seen how people they get it, and nobody wants to be left out. So I think there's all the ingredients for excitement to be very, very strong, and we all can be the ambassadors and just spread the word. So
yep, perfect. Okay, so this is going to be the last one. Kendo Bell, is there a future around that has a no limit debit card, or one that would reward, etc.?
I mean, the processing side is done. So if somebody says, because it's still a problem right now. I mean, if you want to implement Bitcoin processing or the other coins, they charge you. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not that cheap anymore. So the first step is done, which is allowing anybody, starting with ourselves, to process NLC in and out very, very easily and inexpensively. Not 1%, not half of a percent. I mean, nothing, or 0.1%. So that part of it is done. So in essence, now what you said is, are we going to make, are we ever, I mean, we could easily, anybody can do that. Basically, you create an account where you make it convertible, and you put a bunch of dollars in the account, and then when they spend dollars, you take out the NLC. So it's not a difficult thing to do. It's not something immediate, but I assume that if the coin climbs a few more notches, and the volume, the key is volume. Once we start doing 100,000, 200,000 a day average, I mean, we did 200,000 that one day, but once it's average daily volume, and then once in a while a million, then you're very liquid, and that can happen. It's not a difficult thing to think about, to implement basically a debit card where you're just backing it up with NLC. So it's something we could do. Right now, it's still very early for something like that, but at least on the processing side, that's going to be there already. So businesses could say, hey, I want to take NLC to sell my stuff and not have to pay 3 or 4 or 5% to the payment processors. Okay, great.
Cool. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. I got to pick a winner real quick. Obviously, I have to add Dan, not because of the name, just because he came off firing. And to make it fair, I'm gonna throw in Glenn Beck. I like both of those questions. We're gonna do a heads and a tails. I'm in Mexico, although I think this might be from Cuba. I don't know. I carry coins around. So this 10 is gonna be tails, and then this one is going to be heads. It's a dragon.
Oh, so you're flipping a coin in your own place, and you're gonna tell us what it comes out. Okay.
Yeah. All right. And it is. Oh, I didn't call it. So Glenn's gonna be tails. Dan's gonna be heads. It's tails. Glenn is the winner. Let's go over his question again. His question was about how can the community best get involved to help promote No Limit Coin. Ralphie gave a slam dunk answer, even talking about local. So, we're talking about this cryptocurrency, but you actually get local involved, and that's a very good angle. Go ahead and post your No Limit Coin address, Glenn, and we will shoot you 1,000 No Limit Coins. Congratulations. Thank you for the turnout. Looks like we got a good amount of questions. They didn't get to be answered, but guess what? We'll probably be back next week and just save them for next time. I wasn't able to get on to them because we're already at 100, an hour and 10 minutes. But
time flies when you're having fun. So I'm having fun.
Oh, I'm definitely having fun. Yeah, we'll wrap this up and we'll do it again next week. Thanks again for coming.
Thanks a lot, Dan, and keep everything. Keep up the intense passion. I go in the Slack room at least once a day or something like that. So I like to see all this stuff there, and it's good. So I like how the community is expanding. I hope it keeps expanding. I hope people, kind of ramp up their efforts into the starts of the seasons, because this is it. This is it.
It's go time.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dan. Have a great day.
Yep. Cheers.
Have a good weekend.
Peace.